Hello everyone, welcome back to Tales and Thrills. Today we re-unlocking one of the wildest sequels in late 90s horror, Wishmaster 2, Evil Never Dies, 1999. Yeah, the Djinn is back, and he's twice as wicked, twice as sarcastic, and just as obsessed with twisting wishes into nightmares. This isn't your typical slasher or monster flick. It is a dark fantasy full of chaos, irony, and that classic 90s practical effects magic we horror fans live for. So, grab your lamp, and maybe a lawyer, because when you deal with the Djinn, your words are your doom. The film opens with a bang, literally, as a museum heist goes horribly wrong. In the middle of a chaotic robbery, our unlucky heroine Morgana accidentally awakens the ancient Djinn once again. The jewel shatters and out crawls evil wrapped in charm and menace. The Djinn wastes no time collecting souls, twisting wishes in the most gruesome ways imaginable. A cop wishes the Djinn to go to hell, and the Djinn smirks as flames engulf him. The setup is fast, brutal, and pure Wishmaster energy, equal parts camp and terror. As the story unfolds, Morgana is consumed by guilt. Her wish triggered a demonic chain reaction that can only end when the Djinn opens the gates of hell on Earth. With nowhere else to turn, she seeks help from her ex-boyfriend turned priest, Father Gregory, a man caught between faith and fear. Their uneasy alliance drives the emotional spine of the movie. Morgana wants redemption. The Djinn wants souls, and Gregory just wants to survive. The beauty of Wishmaster 2 lies in its unapologetic tone. It knows exactly what it is, a supernatural carnival of gore and temptation. The Djinn, once again played brilliantly by Andrew Divoff, steals every scene. He's part philosopher, part sadist, part comedian. His voice drips with sinister glee as he grants wishes that turn dreams into death sentences. One inmate wishes to walk through walls, and the Djinn nods politely, then laughs as the man is crushed halfway through solid concrete. It's dark humor at its finest, the kind of wicked creativity that made this series stand out. We also get a deeper dive into the Djinn's mythology. Unlike the first film's high society art museum horror, Wishmaster 2 throws him into a grimy prison setting, the perfect playground for a wish-granting demon. Surrounded by desperate, violent men, the Djinn thrives. Every inmate has a desire, every guard has a weakness, and the Djinn feeds on it all. The more wishes he grants, the closer he gets to freeing his army and bringing hell to Earth. Morgana's arc mirrors this descent. She starts as a thief, reckless, selfish, detached, but guilt transforms her. Her journey becomes almost spiritual as she faces the evil she unleashed. Through Father Gregory, she seeks forgiveness, but the Djinn is always one step ahead. Their connection becomes personal, symbolic of temptation and redemption locked in eternal conflict. One of the film's most memorable sequences happens when the Djinn enters the casino. Surrounded by gamblers, greed, and flashing lights, it's his paradise. He tempts each patron with quick wins and ironic payoffs. "I wish to win big," one player says, and a slot machine explodes, showering him in coins and blood. "I wish she'd love me forever," another says, only to be turned into a lifeless statue clutching his obsession. It's pure chaos, a dark comedy of greed and consequence that captures the franchise's essence. But despite its over-the-top gore, Wishmaster 2 also builds tension through dialogue. The Djinn's interactions are slow, deliberate, filled with wordplay and dread. He listens, twists, and smiles, making every wish feel like a contract with hell. Andrew Divoff's performance turns him into horror-esque version of a Shakespearean villain, elegant yet grotesque, evil but strangely charismatic. As Morgana and Gregory race to stop him, we see their relationship evolve. The priest's faith is tested at every turn. When Morgana confesses her sins, it's not just about the heist, it's about the darkness within her. The movie flirts with theological themes: sin, punishment, redemption, and how easily human desire opens doors to damnation. By the final act, it's clear that Wishmaster 2 isn't just about gore. It's about the consequences of our words and the corruption of our souls. The climax takes us deep into a cathedral, where Morgana faces the Djinn one-on-one. Surrounded by the flickering glow of candles and screams of trapped souls, she must use her wit instead of power. She tricks the Djinn into revealing a loophole, a callback to her repentance and Gregory's sacrifice. In true horror fashion, the ending walks the line between victory and tragedy. The Djinn is banished, for now, but the cost is high. Morgana loses everything she loves, and the screen fades with the whisper of the Djinn's laughter. Evil never really dies. It just waits for the next wish. Cinematically, Wishmaster 2 leans into practical effects that still hold up surprisingly well. There's a tactile grossness to every transformation. Flesh stretches, bones twist, and fire consumes bodies in old-school prosthetic glory. No CGI shortcuts, just raw creativity and buckets of fake blood. The result is a movie that feels grimy, alive, and nostalgic for the golden era of horror makeup artistry. The soundtrack deserves credit too. It mixes gothic choirs with eerie synths, creating a soundscape that feels both mystical and menacing. The editing is quick but clear, giving every death just enough time to land without overstaying its shock value. And while the budget was smaller than the original, the direction by Jack Shoulder, A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, gives it a confident rhythm. He balances horror and humor, sin and salvation, in a way that keeps viewers hooked from the first wish to the last scream. What really keeps Wishmaster 2 interesting is its tone, that perfect middle ground between absurd and chilling. It knows it's a B-movie, but it leans into that with pride. There's a tongue-in-cheek energy that makes it endlessly rewatchable. You're not just scared, you're entertained, laughing nervously at how ridiculous and brilliant it all is. By the end, Wishmaster 2, Evil Never Dies, feels like a forgotten gem of 90s horror. It doesn't reinvent the wheel, but it refines the formula, giving us a sharper, meaner, and more confident Djinn. Andrew Divoff elevates the film beyond its budget with pure charisma. His delivery, that gravelly, deliberate voice, makes every line unforgettable. "Careful what you wish for," he hisses, and you believe it. From a tales and thrills perspective, this movie is horror comfort food. It's got style, guts, and that old-school dark fantasy energy that modern horror rarely dares to replicate. It's campy, yet clever, brutal yet fun, a movie that reminds us why practical effects and twisted imagination will always beat CGI jump scares. So what's the lesson here? Never steal from museums, never trust mysterious gems, and for the love of horror, never make a deal with something that smiles too much when you speak. Wishmaster 2 proves that words have power, and sometimes your wish is your curse. If you're into dark fantasy horror with a splash of humor and buckets of blood, Wishmaster 2. Evil Never Dies is a must-watch. It's the perfect example of why late 90s horror deserves more love. Bold, bloody, and beautifully bizarre. And that wraps up today's deep dive. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, drop a comment with your favorite Wishmaster kill, and subscribe for more chilling explorations every week. From cursed artifacts to killer sequels, we've got your horror fix covered. This is Tales and Thrills, where every wish comes with a price.